Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're finding the program very valuable to you and you're implementing the strategies as we're going through. Obviously, a lot of the strategies, it takes a bit of time to implement, but at least you're starting to get a bit of a roadmap, a bit of an idea of the fundamentals and what you need to put in place for your business to be successful. So today's our last day of the challenge. So today's day 7 of our challenge, and it's continuing on what we talked about yesterday. So it's part 2 of building strong fundamentals within your business. Okay. So something that's really, really important, and that is, it's really important to look at getting systems into your business because when you have systems in your business, everything is organized, everything's got a structure, and then you can automate as well. Through the automation process, it allows you to free up more time so that when you're out working with your clients or doing other things as well, you know, your administration and your automation of your business is still continuing on without you. So it's extremely important then to start looking at what type of systems that I actually need in my business. And sometimes we sort of, I suppose, go a bit towards buying free versions because lots of times as a business owner, when you're first starting out, you're trying to look at your budgets and trying to keep your costs down and things like that as well. Now, I find the free versions probably not as good as a paid version or whatever you choose to buy. For a couple of reasons. Usually a free version hasn't got all of the elements, all of the tools that can help you to run your business more effective. And the other thing as well, usually a free version, lots of times they don't have a support around them, like a chat support or support around you as well. Now, without that support around you, it can be quite frustrating because obviously, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a IT guru, anything like that. But I know enough about IT to move around the computer easily and be able to follow, you know, ideas and support everything else as well. So it's kind of, it's sometimes it's difficult because it's like, do I choose the free version or do I choose the paid version? And I would highly recommend that if there's a paid version, if there's 3 options, always choose the second one because you may not need to have the full version, paid version yet, but you need to have some sort of support around you so that when you do come across difficulties around that particular system or automation, you've got someone to reach out to. I find that very, very important. So now at the moment, I think I spoke last time about the e-commerce idea that I was looking at and how I was quoted this high figure to get e-commerce put on board. Well, things went south worse from that as well because I had my website designed from overseas, nothing integrated with my website. So the installation that was going to happen with my website couldn't, like it didn't work to the level that I wanted to be presented. However, I then thought about using my autoresponder, which is Ontraport, and I looked at how and everybody in that system that I have, you can set up your payments and you can set membership sites. You can do all of that stuff as well. So it's fantastic. So I spoke to the chat support, had a bit of a chat to them, and yes, now I'm actually implementing it on there, and the problem is solved. If I didn't have the Ontraport and the support around me, again, I wouldn't have been street smart. So again, I would have invested more and more money in getting IT specialists to start from scratch and create all the code and create everything to put on my system, which probably would have cost me, $2,500, $3,000. Instead, I can do it myself, and I've got support people around me to help me as well. So it's all about take those shortcuts, and we buy free versions and things like that. What happens there is we set ourselves up for frustration, overwhelm, a long time before we can actually get our system working. And sometimes it just becomes too hard. and we throw it in the too hard basket. So my advice is looking at your systems, looking at your CRM, your client relationship manager. You need a CRM. You need an autoresponder that allows you to put in landing pages along with your email sequence lists. Those two things are very important. And then as you start to progress through, then if you're looking at your system, you want to make sure it integrates with your accounting system as well. So when you select an autoresponder or you select a system, you've got to ask yourself, will it integrate with my accounting system? So I'm using Ontraport at the moment, and it integrates with my QuickBooks because I use QuickBooks as well. It integrates with that. It integrates with my Stripe, which is also my, payment system that I'm having online. So everything's integrating at the same time. So before you start to put on systems and getting your website built and everything else as well, you need to do a bit of a plan also of what are the future systems that you want to bring on a bit later down the track. And then if you do that, will they all integrate together? Will they all talk together? Will they all work friendly together? And that's something that's really important to consider, because now I'm very fortunate because now I've got a really good CRM, good autoresponder that talks to my website really easily. It also talks to my QuickBooks really easy, and also talks to my Stripe, which is my payment system. So everything is coming together. So I'm really pleased with that. So have a bit of a think about your systems and understand, as I said, is when you've got really good systems put in place, your systems run your business and your people run your business. Your people run your systems. So you need to invest in systems and getting all that working as well. I find a lot of the systems that I use with my clients, I actually handhold with them and I teach them how to go through and use the system properly. So then later you can outsource it later to maybe a VA or a PA or someone like that, because then you know how to teach them as well. So when you do it yourself and you understand the processes, it's easy for you to train your staff and your contractors along the way as well. And that's something you need to consider, because if you don't understand the behind the scenes of how your business works, then you have to employ people who are very highly skilled at technology, at IT. And then what happens then is obviously you bring on board someone who's highly skilled. You have to pay a higher hourly rate for the expertise of that person. And then if they ever left, then you still don't know how to run your systems and your processes properly. So I believe it's important for you to understand when you get busy, outsource it, and set your operations manager up, your other systems up. So when you do outsource your tasks, you hand the person you're outsourcing it to over to them the operations manual, and they understand exactly about your business and how that system works with you as well. Now, this is a really important formula to start to understand. So the formula here is interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. So when you're bringing on, or you're starting to build your business and you're bringing on a prospect, you need to go through those 4 stages. So interrupt is you want to grab their attention. You want them to notice you. And when you interrupt, that's usually their pain point. This is why you need to understand their pain points already. So the interrupt, for example, if you're watching an ad on TV, the interrupt might be something like something ridiculous. It could be a flying hippo, and that and that grabs their attention. Or it could be something of pleasure, of someone jumping around and winning gold lotto or something like that. But most of the times, most interrupts we look at is always about pain. So you see today on TV for ads, you'll see, for example, roadside ads. You'll see the scenario of someone being injured really badly or hurt, because people know that people will actually pay attention to pain. So the interrupt is usually around the pain point. So you need to associate them with the pain point first. Now, the second thing along the line is called engage. So engage is you're showing them the solution. So they associate with the pain. You're able to demonstrate the solution to them. So you start to engage their interest in what you're doing as well. Now, most people from there, they go straight to the offer. And we know it doesn't work because, as I said previously, it takes 5 to 10 touch points normally before a person will actually trust you enough and know you before they will make a purchase. Yes, 1% to 3% will do immediately because your timing is perfect at that time. So we need to educate them. So the third step is education. So we need to educate them not just about how we are the expert within our field, but we also need to educate them about the industry. And this is something that's quite important as well to start thinking about. For example, I was a BDM, a business development manager, for a cleaning company for a while. And lots of times there was a lot of people who, I suppose, who are, like cleaning is an unregulated industry. Anyone can pick up their buckets and go around and say they're a cleaner, for example. However, a lot of people maybe haven't been trained to clean properly, or they don't follow the safety regulations. And one of the safety regulations is when you see a cleaner is they have to obviously have their personal protection equipment, like they've got to have closed-in shoes. They have to use different coloured cloths, for example, because you don't want someone cleaning the toilet and using the same cloth to actually then clean your kitchen. So they should be so with the cleaning regulations, they're supposed to have a red bucket and mop head, and red cloths, and that's for places where, like, you get toilets and things like that as well. And then they should have a different bucket and different mop head and a different cloth to clean the kitchen. And usually that was a green colour. And then the third one they would normally have be another colour, it could be blue or another colour, and that's for the rest of the building. And if you're working with like dentists or things like that, you've got a white one, which is the high hygienic type one as well. So cleaners, therefore, should be using at least 3 buckets, 3 separate mops, and three different cloths. Now, I don't see that happening. I've seen lots of cleaners walk into their cleaning of their sites at night time, the ones that aren't being monitored, and the ones who haven't got the qualification, and they just pull out 1 mop and 1 bucket and a dirty rag, and that's it. So, therefore, when I was working as a BDM, I would educate my customers about these are the safety regulations. So these are the things that you'll get from us. You'll get us to make sure that we don't cross-contaminate. So we would talk about that. So we'd educate them about that. So they start to understand, oh my God, these guys they know their stuff. We would also educate them also about making sure we've got public liability as well, because a lot of the cleaners who I suppose, who are just, doing it, I suppose, as a hobby or whatever, they don't have public liability insurance. So we would talk to them about that too. So we would educate them firstly about the industry, and we would educate them as well about some cleaning companies would actually pay their cleaners under the award wage. And we will also educate them about that we didn't bring on board anyone who was doing cleaning on the side, such as a student, maybe a backpacker or something like that. We only brought cleaners who were actually it was their career, it was their full-time position. and they also had visas and everything else as well. So you see how we would educate so that they started to understand what are some of the pitfalls in the industry. And that's important. So you need to educate. So whatever industry you need to educate about the pitfalls, what they should be looking out for, and also about then position yourself as to how you add that extra value, how you actually, I suppose, create your service, how you deliver, what's your IP, and everything else as well. So you can see how this is where in our past sessions we've had, we're pulling it all together now because you already know by doing your previous challenge that your value that you should be adding. So you would put that in there as well. So that's where you bring in the value. So not only are you going to get this, you're going to get X, Y, Z on top. So once you educate them as well, then your offer comes on board, and that again, with the education of combining your value, combining all the pitfalls that could be in industry that you're looking that they should be aware of, then your offer becomes a no-brainer because you can demonstrate how it's the best deal for them. Obviously, your pricing has to be competitive, but not the cheapest. So that's the formula you need to follow. Always everything you put in together, interrupt, engage, educate, and then offer. Do not leave the education out because that's the one most people give out. They see you, they talk about the pain, they talk about solution, then they throw the offer out straight away. So make sure you put the education in there as well. All right. So let's look at the build, okay? So we want to become visible and stand out. Lots of times new business owners are not successful. It's simply because they don't know how to actually stand out, or they haven't been doing activities consistent enough so that they stand out. It's not necessarily their skill level. It's because their marketing is not actually standing out. So when you're in a business, we're limited by cash flow. So we got to start to build our profile. And building your profile, the build stage is really, really important. And unfortunately, when you build your profile, it doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you've got to keep working at. And even when you start building your profile, and as your clients come on board, you still need to have some sort of system in place so that it's continually being built all the time as well. But as soon as you stop building your profile and you stop getting out there and you start getting busy with the clients, then when your clients start to drop off, you've got to create the momentum from the beginning all the time. So you need to really, really, really look at how can you keep yourself out there so people know that you're the expert in the field. So these are the five things you need to look at when you're actually putting together your model and putting together your business as well. First, you need to always build your profile. Second thing is you need to position yourself for growth. And that's what we're doing on this course. We're taking you through all of those models, everything else, so you're communicating yourself differently than your competitors. The third one, you need to fill and automate. So you need to start to look at lead generation and how are you then going to do conversions and how are you going to automate your business. Then you need to look at, you need to prioritize and chunk. So you got to start to prioritize what you do, prioritize your day, because you're starting to get really busy now and you're getting a lot of clients on board now. So this is where your time management has to be really, really good. And if you've got the right systems in place, then it's not an issue. And then, of course, then you've got your transform and your master. So you've got to transform and master and you start scaling up. So these are the 5 levels that I work with my clients through my mastermind group or my one-on-one sessions with them. I always look at their profile. I go through to position, get the foundation. We talk about lead generation, conversion, automation, systems, prioritizing, chunking. And then we start looking at how can we then start to train our contractors and our staff and our teams so that they run effectively without you. Because the idea is you want to have a business eventually where where you can step out and have it run without you, such as you have your holidays, and things like that as well. So it's important to look at the whole picture. So when we're looking at creating more profits, there's 5 different areas we've got to look at, because we've built the profile already. So the profile is done, it's being managed. So that's out the side there, right? Your profile is your foundation. So once we create our profile, then we have to go through, well, what's going to be our lead generation? And with our lead generation, we can't just rely on one strategy. Remember, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So usually with a lead generation strategy, we'll have a couple lined up. Say if I was working with someone for 3 months, we would have a couple of those strategies lined up. We would also look at offline and online. So once you've got a lead generation working, you also got to make sure that you convert them as well. So you have to have that sales process. You have to have that conversion. You have these scripts. How are you going to communicate to them? You've got to test and measure to see what your conversion rate is, just to see what you need to change and modify. Once you've done your conversion, then you want the clients to keep coming back to you. So you want to create other products, other services, other things in your business so that you can have more transactions. Because, if you've got a client, instead of buying off you once, you want them to buy the second program or the third program or a monthly membership or something like that. You want to keep on having more transactions as well. Once you start to actually add value and you're communicating your work and you're getting a lot of testimonials, you've got your profile building, and then what you can do is you can start to not get caught up in price anymore, and you can start to increase your prices because people start to value what you do. Then once you start increasing your prices, then we need to obviously decrease our costs. We need to decrease our overheads and always be aware of, very careful when you go into financial commitments for long term, such as bricks and mortar. These are things you need to really, really consider about making sure that you've got everything else running first before you go to that stage of committing yourself to, leasing or renting for a long period of time. So if I was looking at doing bricks and mortar, I would try and negotiate a short-term lease at first, but I would make sure that I have clients coming on board before I go to that stage, because you don't want to be stressed out with paying lots and lots of overheads if you've got no clients coming on board as well. So they're the 5 areas. So let's look at if we start making some small changes in those areas, what it looks like. Okay. So here's our profit growth calculator, okay? So here we have an example. We're looking at if we've got 1,000 leads coming in, that means you've got 1,000 leads coming in that are saying to us they're interested in our business. So our conversion here, so we only convert, say, 25% of these leads. So out of 1,000, we only convert 25%. So therefore, we actually get 250 customers. And we say, okay, these people, they're going to be monthly customers. It could be, once a month they may see us. It could be a membership or something like this for this example. So we get 10 transactions per year from them. And the cost per transaction for this example is $100. So therefore, before we take out our costs and everything else, we earn $250,000 a year. Now, we know that we only make 25% profit. So therefore, this particular example is they get $500 per year profit. Now, if we were to increase that just by 10%, it's not much, just by 10%, okay? So if we increase all those areas by 10%, let's look at the figures here. So all of a sudden, we're marketing a bit better, and we're getting 1,100 people who actually say, I want to talk to you about your services or your products per year. So we get a 10% increase. So our sales conversion is a lot better, and we get 27.5% sales conversion now. So now we get 303 customers, right? So now we've increased our membership per month or whatever to $11. We've increased the number of transactions one extra time. So they've come in at 11 per year. And we've increased the price by 10% here, which is 110. So with all of those 10% increases here, now we're earning $366,000. Amazing, isn't it? Look at the difference. And we're able to reduce our overheads. So now we're making 27.5% profit. So look at the difference here. So now we're taking home $100,000 compared to 63, and we've only increased 10% in each of those 5 areas. Now, 10% in each of those 5 areas, if you started working more consistently and more disciplined, and when you're working with accountability, and often my clients here, they'll go between the 10% and they'll go through the 50% increase in their business if they're working with me for 1 year. So let's look at 50% increase here. 1,500, 37.5. We're getting 563. We're getting an extra 15 transactions per month, 150 per transaction, 1,265, 37.5 profit, $473,600. But even 10% is not too shabby. So you can see by making small increases, if you're working and focusing on those 5 areas of more leads, right, higher conversions, more transactions, higher pricing, so don't discount, you're actually increasing by 10%, and then reducing your overheads. When you add 10% on each of those 5 areas, they compound to such a high profit area. And that's where you need to be focusing on. You need to be focusing on all of those areas. Most people will just focus on lead generation, and they may focus a little bit on conversion. But let's focus on the whole 5 areas and start looking at that. On top of that, building your profile. So if you're able to do all of that, build your profile on top, as well as work on those 5 areas and having guidance and systems in place, you are going to get about 760% increase in profit. It's amazing, isn't it? When I saw those figures the first time, it blew my mind out. So that's the end of the course. I hope that's really inspired you to get stuck in your business and really start focusing on, having structure and systems and understanding the strategic positioning that you need to do before you start doing tactical positioning. And the other thing is being disciplined to follow through. I'm still coughing, so I'm really sorry. All this week, I've been coughing all this week, but I'm getting better and things like that as well. So I'm actually starting up a new mastermind group, and the new mastermind group is a 6-month group. It's an online group. The whole 6 months you'll be supported with me. So if you're interested in that, we'll go through all of that. So we'll take you through all of that, all of those, those strategies, as 5 strategies with your profile building as well. You'll be held extremely accountable. There's 7 levels of accountability that I will holding you accountable with. And that goes from having an accountability system that flags me red when your tasks aren't completed. There's myself giving you feedback on the homework. There's question and answer sessions along with your mastermind sessions. On top of that, there's also check-in calls with me to make sure that you can answer questions and you're not slipping behind the cracks. There's also a closed Facebook group, which you could support with as well. So all of that put together is really, I think it's really important to have a high accountability, because lots of times it's really too easy just to do a course and not implement. And I really truly believe it's not about what you don't know. It's about what we do as business owners, and we get busy chasing those shiny things as well. So if you're interested in coming on board, there's only 6 per group. As soon as I get 6 names in, then I will be then shutting it down, and then we'll be starting it. Again, when I get the 6 names down, we'll look at a time that works for the group, that we actually get together fortnightly and be online. You'll be getting your videos, your workbooks, similar to what you've done for the 7-day program. And you'll go through the whole business strategy as well. So I hope you've really enjoyed it. Please, if you can give me a testimonial, that'll be fantastic. Send that through to me about the program. I also post your testimony as well with a photo, a selfie, in the group as well. It just helps me again with social proof as I move forward, letting people know this program is available. And it's really there to actually help them to grow their business rapidly. So all the best. Hope you enjoy yourself. And I look forward to talking to you very soon. Take care. Bye.